days after the U.S. bombed Iranian-backed Shia militias, these jihadi forces are at it again. This morning, Wednesday, March 3rd, 10 rockets were launched at Ain al-Assad Air Base in western Iraq. Now, this base houses U.S. coalition and Iraqi forces. Thankfully, none of them were injured in this latest rocket barrage, but unfortunately, a foreign contractor, we're not sure of his nationality just yet, suffered a heart attack and died during this rocket barrage. Of course, folks, it comes on the heels of 3 separate rocket barrages in the past 2.5 weeks alone, targeting U.S. personnel. This was rocket barrage number 4, dating back to February 15th. Now, the U.S. obviously, as I mentioned at the top, responded late last week, carrying out airstrikes against these Iranian-backed militias. Actually, they were targeted on the Syrian side of the Iraq-Syria border. Up to 22 of those Iranian-backed fighters were killed in those U.S. airstrikes last week, but apparently the Iranian regime and their proxies did not get the memo. Now, Ain al-Assad Air Base, where this latest attack took place, you may remember it from January 2020. That's the last time it was targeted. That was in the wake of the takeout, the U.S. takeout of Iran's terror kingpin Qasem Soleimani. In response, last January, the Iranian regime fired missiles at Ain al-Assad Air Base, which again, it's in western Iraq. It's in Anbar province. Those missiles caused injuries to several U.S. soldiers at that air base. They suffered concussions in the wake of that attack. But again, it had been untouched since January 2020. Now Iran appears to be escalating things. The previous 3 attacks these past 2 weeks took place, number 1 in Erbil in northern Iraq, in Iraqi Kurdistan. Number 2, just north of Baghdad at a base there. And number 3, of course, last week, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, inside the Green Zone, was targeted by these rockets. Now, in each one of these attacks, these obscure Shia militias are claiming responsibility. Folks, these are basically fronts for the real power behind these attacks, which is number 1, the Iranian regime, and number 2, the most powerful of these Shia militias operating inside Iraq and backed by Iran. That would be Kataib Hezbollah. Now, one Kataib Hezbollah fighter was killed in those U.S. airstrikes last week, but clearly it was not enough to deter the Iranian regime from further attacks. Now, this takes place, this latest rocket barrage, against the backdrop of Pope Francis's planned visit to Iraq this Friday, March 5th, through Monday, March 8th. This is an historic visit. Pope has never made such an official visit to Iraq. He will be speaking in Baghdad. He will also visit Erbil, the capital of Iraqi Kurdistan to the north. I believe that he'll be saying an open-air mass there. And he will also visit and meet with the most powerful Shia religious authority inside Iraq. That would be Ayatollah Ali Sistani. Now, Pope Francis is reportedly going to stress interfaith dialogue while he is in Iraq. Folks, I have to say, there are obviously great concerns over this visit, with the tensions running high, rocket attacks and terror obviously unfolding in Iraq right now. Also, apparently a COVID-19 spike there. But I look back in previous years, remember, there is still at least pockets for sure of ISIS operating in and around Iraq, even though President Trump did crush largely that ISIS caliphate. He kept his word there. There are still a good deal of jihadists who would love nothing more than to target the Pope. ISIS made many threats in years previous when they were at their height, 2014, 2015, threats to conquer Rome, threats to murder the Pope. So he is an official, to them, he is an official, a figure, a major figure, obviously, in Christianity, and a prime target for these jihadists. So obviously security will be very tight, to say the least, around this papal visit. It is something to keep an eye on. This is a major event, folks, over the weekend, whether you support the Pope or not. It is a major event without a doubt, especially coming at such a tense time in Iraq and in the region. We will be keeping a close eye on that. So what is the big takeaway from this latest rocket barrage against U.S. forces in Iraq? Number one, folks, the Biden administration believed clearly that those airstrikes they carried out last week against those Iran-backed Shia militias would send a message and that Iran would back off. That did not happen. Now it remains to be seen whether the Biden administration will feel compelled to respond and we get into a tit-for-tat type situation. What's Iran's goal here? It is a calculated strategic move. They will force the United States, in their view, force the U.S. by any means necessary to drop sanctions. Remember, President Trump enforced very tough sanctions against the Iranian regime that have crippled that country's economy, and they are desperate to see those sanctions lifted. Nearly every statement we see now from the foreign minister of Iran, Javad Zarif, is calling on the United States to pull back on sanctions. Now, President Biden has said he will not do that, folks, but let's see if he keeps to his word, because as the U.S. is desperate to re-enter these nuclear talks, I would not be surprised in the least if we see a President Biden and his administration drop sanctions against the Iranian regime. What Iran is basically doing right now, and quite successfully, I might add, is a blackmail strategy where they are saying to the United States and the West and the world for that matter, if you do not drop sanctions and re-enter that Iran deal and give us a sweet deal, we will continue to wreak havoc in Iraq. We will bomb you. We will target you with rockets. We will increase our enriched uranium stockpile and march towards a nuclear weapon. We will not play ball. We will act very badly till you come to the table, United States, West, coalition, and you give us what we want. That's exactly what's unfolding right now. They are looking for leverage, and we saw that clearly over the weekend when Iran rejected direct talks with the United States. Now, eventually, sadly, those talks will happen. The United States and Iran will come to the table, and I believe, barring something unforeseen, and anything can happen in the Middle East, expect the unexpected. Anything can happen, but right now, if you're listening to the Biden administration, they are determined to re-enter that Iran nuclear deal. So I expect sanctions to eventually be lifted, and I do expect the two sides to come to the table. Again, what Iran is doing right now is looking for leverage, and unfortunately, they are gaining it. We like to close out here every day.
So they gain this leverage, and as they gain this leverage, what's going to happen is either the United States is going to go into this deal, giving them more power to do what they want, because that's what it all comes down to, because the same thing that Obama was doing, or they don't do it, and because they already have free will to do what they want anyway, and they would do it regardless if they signed the deal, it ain't gonna matter. It still end up all messed up. So there's your news. I hope you're paying attention to the news I've been showing. Well, I ain't gonna say it like that. The news that Creator has allowed me to show you, because this is important. I know I put videos together, I edit videos together, and I give you lessons through older books, and in many ways, and the Creator has helped me expose many things in so many different ways. It's all about the Creator, obviously. But these news feeds are important. Almost, if as important as reading some of these older books and piecing these together to bring you a lesson. Also to prove that, now you can see that about some things that I probably proved a lot. The Creator helped me prove a lot of stuff already. So people see that it's been proven with the stuff that's been told out of my mouth with the Creator using me. That's right. But now you start to see other things I told you. The Creator has used me to tell you. I'll say that. It's coming to pass. So now you can see that your boy wasn't over here bullshitting, that the Creator been using me, that the Creator using me good, and because of that, you haven't been getting no lies. So, if I ever made a mistake, then I would correct it. If I ever have, then I would have corrected it. Okay? So, peace and love to everyone. I don't know if I'm doing more videos tonight. I might. I don't know. We'll see. It's up to Creator. It's not up to me, as you know. Because a lot of times I tell you I ain't doing more tonight, and then you see me with 4 or 5 more videos. We used to talk on the phone. when the circle was super tight. Remember that. And I used to say, I ain't doing no more videos after. I'm going to do one and that's it. And the guys say to me, they would laugh at me and say, yeah, right. Yeah, right, Brother News. You know you're going to do 5 or 6 videos. And they was right. So, so I don't know what's going to happen as far as we doing another video tonight. But we'll see. Just stay tuned. Peace and love.